system. Activating combat mode.
Hello everyone, welcome. Welcome in. There's a few of you out there. I got a couple. Got a couple. What's up, Nurgle? What's up, Ned? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Ned the Ninja. Ninja. Alright, so I got something cool to show you. Right before we get started here. Something I was not expecting as we get started. Something I was not expecting as I got started. Let me actually, I forgot to do a couple of little things here. Let me get a couple of things loaded just real fast. Let's do this. Let's load this puppy up. Oh, there goes gravity. Okay. A little crazy. Oh, there go. Oh, there it is. There we go. Got something else here. There we go. What's up, Eric? You know why online was off last night? That's actually the first I've been told of that. I was out of town. So I did not hear that about that actually happening. Like it wasn't working for anyone yesterday? That's crazy. Huh. I have not heard anything, Eric. I do not know anything about that. That's news to me. There was a major problem. That's crazy. Alrighty, I got my usual posts out. I'll be done now. I'll be done now. Okay. Yeah, it might be on your end, Eric. Look what we got here. Do you see this right here, chat? You see this right here? The man himself liked the tweet that we're going to watch this tonight together. Vaati himself said, ooh, I like this. So all of you on the YouTube spot especially, but it'll be on your best behavior. He might be watching with you. It'll be on your best behavior, chat. Don't be any, no issues. Don't cause problems. Yeah, Vaati himself liked the tweet. So, yo. Yeah, actually, I actually have been... Actually, I shouldn't say anything about that. Never mind. I may or may not have been in contact with him, but I'm not going to say anymore. I'll let that pass past that. Okay. Well, let's get back to here and let's watch a little more. I think I picked up where I left off last time, right about the 3-hour mark, when my power died because the storm going through killed it. Power went through and killed it. Stupid storm. Anyways, here we go. Turn this guy up.
Violate the law and you'll pay the price. You've made a big mistake, Merc.
He's weakened, 621. Go for the jugular.
Enemy system silent. HC enforcement craft destroyed.
Gun 13 Raven! That was a beautiful massacre at the wall. You're a survivor, no doubt. Let me give you some advice. Join the Red Guns. Have a career. Climb the ranks. Keep that unlucky number. And eventually the curse will get you too. That's all. Don't forget what I said about putting you to work.
Here, Gun 6 Red reveals his superstition for the curse of Gun 13. By getting you to climb the ranks of the Red Guns, perhaps he really just hopes that you'll eventually leave behind that unlucky number. Back at the central ice field, 621 is given a job to destroy the same PCA Special Forces craft that assaulted the Baus Arsenal in the Allmind timeline. In this timeline, the RLF are fearing that the corporations will eventually assimilate that same PCA technology. So the RLF give you the chance to take out the PCA cataphract here. By now, the PCA have established that Raven appears to be operating on Rubicon once more. They no longer consider Raven to be dead. However, they still haven't figured out that it's you fighting with Raven's name.
Raven, priority target for removal. You've got some nerve showing up here. That leak of yours started all of this. Did you really think
there were
we'd
tons of
let you
tornadoes going
walk?
through the area. I think we
The
went
leak
hit
in
us.
question is
The one hitting us
almost
too far
certainly
from
the
us,
fact
and the really
that
strong
Coral
wind
had
took out
been
some power lines, which is
rediscovered
why my
on
power went out.
Rubicon. And this information getting out sent the corporations into a frenzy.
You've made Rubicon the corporation's playground. We had law and order under the PCA's watch.
Previously, a death dialogue against an Ektramoy captain revealed that they'd been briefed on Raven's fighting style, and this mission reveals that they've even been training for that rematch.
Code 44, send me what you've got on priority target Raven.
What's up, Altius?
The
Welcome
combat
in.
simulator has misled me. Who are you?
You'd think, if they were prepared for a fight against Raven, that they wouldn't bring a craft with a giant weak spot in its center, an opening to attack the MT craft that is just begging for the pile bunker.
Oh, yeah, Vaati, go for the style points. I love it.
Over.
It's even funny with the chainsaw, by the way.
Forget about this Raven
If you didn't know this, the chainsaw wrecks him, like, bad. And the way it does it, too, like, makes the whole, like, thing shake. It's hilarious looking.
character. Borrowed licenses are always trouble.
For this
Hello,
next
kid.
mission,
Hello.
Arquebus has tasked you with
Welcome
taking
in.
out the PCA's berthed heavy warships, while Rusty takes out their comm space. Luckily for you, the heavy warships are made out of paper mache. Unlucky for
Night,
you,
afternoon,
the comms
day,
blackout doesn't last long.
Wherever you are in the world,
PCA elites
good whatever
catch
time
you
of day it
and
is.
Rusty at the base.
Code 15. Target for termination sighted. Time to pay the piper.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I've got your back, buddy. Hope you've got mine.
Code 44. Send me what you've got on the target.
Overcome the PCA here, and they call in the Ice Worm, an autonomous sea weapon designed by the Institute and later commandeered by the PCA. However, it can only follow their command to attack you for so long before resorting back to its core imperative, to defend the coral.
yeah, the ship's
Changing its
kill is weird.
behavioral pattern. Answering to a greater imperative. To protect the convergence.
After this, the corporations team up, and even RAD gets involved. To defeat the ice worm, you'll need something strong enough to punch through its coral shield, which weaponizes coral
You attack the
directivity,
bridge
the
dies,
same
whole thing blows
directivity that led you to the
Sure,
ice
makes sense.
field and the convergence in the first place. Luckily, long ago, Carla started developing a secret project, a rail cannon. What she wanted this for is hard to say, but whatever her target was, it must have been large. A PCA satellite, perhaps? Unluckily for her, the rail cannon was stolen, along with more credits and tech, by a man named Honest Brute. Initially, she trusted this man.
It's huge.
Him and what's likely his Wrecker AC are even seen alongside her and Rummy in this STV sketch here. And as discovered by user Delta V11, this STV
Yeah, Carla makes sense. Rummy, yeah, I can see it.
sketch here. And as discovered by user Delta V112 on Reddit, Honest Brute might have been the one who outfitted the RLF's Strider with all its weaponry. We can infer this because another Reddit user Just a New Leader, recently discovered that many RAD parts contain the letters C, B, R, and S, letters that are likely shorthand for Carla, Rummy, Chatty Stick, and Honest Brute. And the Strider, EB0309, has the B that is likely shorthand for Brute. Indeed, the Strider was weapon.
Alright, that's the first thing I've heard so far. I feel like is a stretch. Now, it could be correct. That could be accurate. I mean, it's a theory. I mean, they even said up front, they're guessing based on whatever. But that's the first thing I've heard up to this point. Granted, we're 3 hours in, so that's not too bad. That's the first thing I've heard that's kind of a stretch in my opinion.
Weaponized by RAD. Brute's bio reads, Leader of the Junker Coyotes, a major dose of force. Brute was originally hired by RAD. His smooth-talking, affable nature quickly caught the attention of Carla, who found him quite unlike the average doser. But high self-confidence and social assertiveness are common psychopathic traits, and when it was discovered that the man was a psychopath and a pathological liar, Brute fled, taking a considerable amount of RAD's funds and technology with him, a loss that was too great for Carla to tolerate. But tolerate it she did, apparently, as she's known where his hideout is for quite a while now. It's in Grid 012, which Carla reveals is one of the first sectors they built. This also confirms that the central ice field was likely the first place that the Rubicon Research Institute settled in, before expanding across the Arlean Ocean to Bellius, where more modern grids were built on the coast and then inland. Their states of disrepair correspond to their numbers. The lower a grid's number, the older it is. Thus, the greater its state of disrepair, and none that we see are as far gone as Grid 012.
Welcome, tourist. It's a delight
Lance,
to enjoy
many
the
loves
company of
chain
a
guns.
visitor from so far away.
Lance, chain gun.
Here at Grid 012, Brute commands a
that
force
double
of
critic?
Dosa Coyotes, the same force that has some territory in Bellius as well,
No, it's not anymore.
where they stage attacks on Carla and RAD.
Build's different now.
Here, though, we find a log that reveals the Coyotes were former members of RAD. It reads, I don't know about our new boss. You think we can trust him? You think Carla's better? She's got the nerve to call herself a freaking cinder. Nice try, lady, but you're a little young for that stolen valor. Man, are those people at RAD full of shit or what? What's ironic here is that Carla was telling the truth about being a cinder, while Honest Brute is a pathological liar.
We built that AC at RAD, tourist. Don't underestimate it.
How Milktooth weeps. How the rail cannon weeps. Torn from their mother. Oh, they must miss.
I'm an idiot, chat. I've never noticed that the real cannon was really hanging right there. I've never taken the time to I've always just like rushed in and attacked or tried to sneak an attack. I've never actually paid attention to the fact that the rail cannon's actually hanging from the ceiling. How have I never paid attention to that before? I feel so dumb. It's literally right there. Wow. Huh. Cool detail from...
Carla, so I weep too.
A milk tooth is a tooth from a set of early childhood teeth
You didn't notice either.
eventually
Okay, you
fall
make it feel a little bit better
and
then.
are
Maybe other people
replaced.
noticed it too then, not just me.
It's a very poetic name for an AC that eventually fell out from RAD and was ultimately replaced by RAD.
My friend, this is a gift. Thank you.
Interestingly, Brute welcomes death. I guess he didn't like who he was or was pretending to be. Interestingly, Brute is also one of the few people that Air dislikes.
Or, you know, he's lying still. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hey, welcome in, Zero, by the way. Yeah, that was my question earlier. How in the world did he steal the rail cannon? That thing's freaking massive. How did he steal that thing? He'd steal a whole transport when he left, maybe? By the way, let's listen to this part again, chat.
And welcome.
Gift. Thank you.
Interestingly, Brute welcomes death.
Does he, though? Because remember, he's a pathological liar. Maybe saying thank you to get into the player's head. So even at the very end when he's dying, he's trying to get into your head, he's actually lying about being thank you. He actually wishes he wasn't dead. Hence his smooth talking nature. So yeah, my guess is he's actually lying here.
I guess he didn't like who he was or was pretending to be. Interestingly, Brute is also one of the few people that Air dislikes, and it's somewhat surprising that she asks you to kill him. She cites being confused by him, and must find this human to be unlike any others she has come to know. I guess this makes sense, considering Air is a being that wishes for a greater symbiosis with humankind. Brute, it seems, would not be a fitting vessel for that future. And before we leave this mission, it bears mentioning that Allmind has been here. One of her craft can be found in this grid. Her data reads, the after effects of the fires of Ibis are causing anomalies that frustrate attempts to observe a number of sites. The central ice field is dotted with many such blind spots, areas that cannot be observed off-planet. The PCA would be keen to exploit these. We'll surely find the first watch point there.
By the way, it's freaking cool that From hid like those little Allmind watchers everywhere in like various maps. That's a nice little nod to detail too.
So Allmind is, or was, searching for watch points. Perhaps this was recorded around the time when she was searching for a wave mutation. In her next mission, Allmind comments that a couple of surges followed the one you triggered at Watchpoint Delta. It's even shown that one eventually occurred here, at Baus Arsenal No. 2, where Allmind was presumably still in control. Presumably, these upsurges align with her goals as they free the coral from underground to eventually converge in the central ice field. But there's a problem, and it's that the corporations have begun seizing the coral from the upsurges. To Allmind, this coral is effectively already lost. In this mission, she embodies the sentiment of, if I can't have it, no one can. And Arquebus are truly confused as to who would risk destroying such a precious resource.
The Liberation Front?
The Rubiconists wouldn't risk burning the coral. Who's behind this?
It does not please us to lose the orphaned coral, but when the release project succeeds, their sacrifice will be rewarded.
Here, Allmind almost gets credit for treating the coral like a living thing. To her, it's just as valuable as a human life, which is to say it's only useful if it aligns with her goals. If it doesn't, it's better off
Use the coral.
being
Yeah, exactly.
destroyed.
Those tattoos using coral weapons.
In a way,
yeah, that's a good
Air
point,
is
Zero.
kind of the
I was
same.
literally just about to say
She
the
too
same thing.
doesn't love the idea of burning the coral, but she'll still boot up a coral generator and fire coral weapons if they mean securing a better future for the coral. For them, the ends justify the means, and it's more about the greater good. That said, Allmind is definitely a lot more ruthless than Air. At least Air succeeds in having a human element, unlike Kate Markson over here. In the next mission, Air tasks you with extracting historical information from the Engebret tunnel. Engebret, or Engebre, I believe, roughly translates to narrow and bright, two words that work pretty well considering the coral surge that just swept through this narrow place.
Thank you for doing this for me, Raven.
In the coral's wake, a number of PCA wrecks have come back online. It's hard to know if these machines are actually inhabited by the coral, but later we learn that coral can indeed control craft as well. It doesn't just power them. This reminds me of a word I read in the parts list, and that's coral swarm intelligence. The Rubicon Research Institute weaponized coral's swarm intelligence and used it to create weapons like the Coral Missile Launcher, which uses coral to track enemies and detonate, so maybe something similar is happening here. Weapons like the Coral Launcher are just some of the Institute's questionable experiments, and among the Institute's other questionable experiments was the C-Pulse sensory augmentation of human subjects, mentioned in a data log down here.
Another old research institute, I see. This is about the first augmented humans. The same coral technology that created you. But without it, we never would have made contact.
Man, air is
it's
so
interesting
loud.
to think about. Human augmentation was clearly not ethical, especially when coral
It's a
was
date
involved.
with air.
But will it all be worth it if you can move things
kind of.
towards
Kinda like the
a better
fireworks
future
mission,
for
as he calls
humans and coral?
I see it.
Or is it
I do.
better to burn it all away so that these atrocities can never happen again? In this next mission, you're given the task to defend a corporate base against a PCA fleet, but another mercenary has already beaten you to the job, Raven.
Man, this fight was so disappointing.
Augmented human C461.
I'm so sad it was so easy.
We're
I
not
was
here
expecting
to
a
take
much
back
tougher
the
fight
Raven
with
name.
better AI, and it just wasn't.
However, we will see if you can do it justice.
The word Raven has a long history in the Armored Core franchise. Previously, it was the name for all mercenaries, no matter who they worked for or why. And in Armored Core 6, being a Raven means something slightly different, but it still harkens back to that age of independent mercenaries.
Altius, I thought it was easy.
A
Go back one.
To that
I know for some people that had struggled with it. I thought it was one of the easier fights. I kind of consider this a quote-unquote boss fight in a sense, even though it's not really a boss fight. But I mean, this is not common to anybody else. It's one of those things. If you kind of, I almost consider this on the same level as a boss fight. It's an AC. I know it's an AC versus AC fight, but on boss fights, I feel like he was just. I expected him. I mean, you understand something. I'm coming from old gen, like things like going into 4th gen, 5th gen, especially 3rd gen. You know, I'm thinking like Zenaida. I'm thinking like Genobi. Like I'm thinking things like, you know, Funeral Mask. I'm thinking things like Ares. Like I'm thinking things that are obnoxious ACs to beat. That's kind of what I was thinking. So when it wasn't like that, it just, I don't know. I just expected him to be like a wall that I had to get through, and it just kind of wasn't for me. I know for some they struggled more, but the fight seemed more straightforward. I think a lot to do with your builds too. Like he's very susceptible to some builds, and I think that may have mattered a lot for some people when they first ran into him. But yeah, it's I thought the fight was not as hard as it should have been, personally.
Age of independent mercenaries and their operators.
A Raven is a symbol of resolve. The will to choose what one fights for.
So, in this game too, Raven is more of a title. To be worthy of it, you have to embody the one thing at the heart of any independent mercenary, and that's the free will to choose
yes,
what
they are
you fight for.
they run human
Raven,
plus and
we can
stuff, but
still...
yes. Well, you can look at it like Walter's build. Like the Walter ending in this game, when you fight Walter as the final boss, technically he has the quote-unquote same parts as you, but his parts have modified stats. Like they're actually a separate code line in this game, and they have like his generator, essentially the way it's coded, never runs out of energy. Like he has infinite energy basically, and his parts have higher defensive stats and things like that, and he does more damage than he's supposed to. So he has non-standard parts. So the same parts we have, they're just modified with insane stats. So I kind of expected something like that with the Raven fight. Is kind of what I was looking for.
All right. We'll watch this one. See where they go on a raven's wings.
The most curious thing about this mission is how Raven and their operator knew you would be there. I feel like they must have had some insider knowledge of the job you were about to take on and were able to anticipate your arrival. And this brings us to Branch, the hacktivist collective that Raven and their operator are a part of, working alongside Chartreuse and King.
Let's get started, Raven. Astrocrown's pilot, callsign King, has an 89.6% mission success rate. Umbrox is piloted by Chartreuse, an aggressive bulldozer with unrivaled firepower. Intercept the 2 targets.
There's our merc. Go take care of the objective.
Okay, this is sick. Getting Star Fox vibes from this one, or like anime pilot vibes, where like the mech or pilot shows up with their voice and stuff at the bottom. Okay, this is a nice detail, Vaati. I appreciate this. This is cool.
King, I'll clip this one's wings.
Not alone. This is a Branch mission. I'll support you.
So, earlier we established that Branch, this mysterious organization, were responsible for luring the corporations to Rubicon. This lure involved leaking that the coral was still here, and it also involved an attack on the closure system, which Chartreuse of Branch was responsible for attacking. Chartreuse's bio reads...
By the way, chat, when I did my playthrough on this, I double bunked. I actually bunked 2 of them together at once. I bunked 2 of them together. I gotta find that clip. It was forever ago. I had a double bunk on Twitch. Maybe someone can find it. I think it's on Twitch highlights somewhere, but I did double bunk them.
It's an independent mercenary who arrived on Rubicon around the time that the coral response was rediscovered. Held to be a member of Branch, a hacktivist collective active in the Rubicon system, Chartreuse is the second oldest and is said to have dealt a critical blow to the closure system during the plot to attack Station 31.
Someone gets the
As
Star
for
Trek
King,
reference.
his bio is much the same, except it specifies that he's the oldest of the roster, and that he confounded an entire fleet of heavy warships in a solo diversionary maneuver during the attack on Station 31.
This isn't right. You're just a Gen 4. You belong in a museum, not an AC.
Chartreuse has this bullish attitude, with the emblem and AC parts to match. Her tank part in particular has some lore related to her as well. It was designed by Arquebus's Advanced Development Division, but during its development, the specs were stolen and leaked by an independent mercenary.
Here you go. I found it. See that, chat? 2 for 1. Boom. See all that red health gone right there? 2 for 1 on this mission. Humble brag.
Logically, this thief was Chartreuse, and the fact that she didn't just steal it for herself is a valuable show of what Branch truly values. Again, they're not just hackers, they're hacktivists who believe in freedom of information, whether that's free access to AC parts or perhaps free access to Rubicon. In my opinion, they don't fight for any specific cause, but they'll fight for the right for Ravens and other mercenaries to champion a cause. And what could be better for mercenary opportunities than the breaking of Rubicon's closure system?
There's more to you than meets the eye. You might not be so different from the other Ravens after all.
As for King, Air notes that he has a 89.6% mission success rate, and as
Pretty
such
high.
is advertised as the ideal mercenary.
Pretty high.
It's a good reminder that even though they're part of Branch, they're still mercenaries who like to choose the jobs they take on. Speaking of missions, though, they've taken on an arquebus job to attack the dam here, just as you've taken on the job to defend it. However, if you die before Raven arrives, then King reveals that you were why they were here all along.
Looks like it was a false alarm for our friend. Chartreuse, we're leaving.
What about the mission?
We've achieved our objective. We're done here.
It's important to them that you
Yep.
live up to the
That voice
Raven
line.
name. So important that all of them resolve to keep on fighting for Branch and a new Raven, even if they're the last ones
Chainsawing
standing.
Raven. Based.
Chartreuse. A new Raven will arise one day. And I'll have a perch ready for them.
As for the name Branch, I think it could be symbolic of a few things. It could literally be the branch that's only there to support the Raven. It could represent branching paths and the free will to choose and shape the future. It could even be a branch of another organization, like Overseer, perhaps.
And he likes using fourth gen
Overseer's
music.
emblem is a tree, which is also fitting, but we just don't know. But I could imagine there being a sequel to Armored Core 6 that would take place after we've earned our renown as a Raven, and
Doing
in this
Raven
sequel I
dirty.
could definitely see Branch playing a bigger role. King, Chartreuse, and Raven's operator can be seen here in this sketch. King is easy enough to spot, and we can tell Chartreuse and Raven's operator apart because Raven's operator appears to be wearing a sort of headset here, while Chartreuse stands confidently, giving the thumbs up towards Nightfall, which is Raven's AC. Anyway, with this job out of the way, we're finally clear to destroy the ice worm. Long ago, the Rubicon Research Institute built this thing, presumably for its ability to tunnel underground, though it also doubles as a virtually indestructible, undying unit for defending the coral. It requires everyone working together to bring it down.
It's not every day you see competing forces working together like this. It's time,
Like
621.
text, that's nice.
You ready?
The Ice Worm has its own section. That's cool.
This mission depends upon you, Raven.
Taking the overlays from the mission
Let's go.
screen. Okay, that's
I'll be
cool.
here to offer support.
I like it. Well done.
Main system activating combat mode.
Commence mission. Michigan will take command.
Commencing operation with combined AC force as per the Balaam Arquebus agreement. Move out, maggots! Time to die!
Act like a professional outfit and you might live.
Who does that creep think he is? I ain't here because I wanna be.
Showcasing HAC
This
at
is
the top. That's
V4
cool.
Rusty. Rail cannon is good to go. Don't die before I get a chance to fire, buddy.
Tourist, got a message from the chief for you. Enjoy the show, and don't forget to smile.
Primary shield disabled.
Yeah, this
Shield
is
loss
very
confirmed.
cinematically done. That's
Initializing
cool.
ORC firing sequence. Connecting EML modules. Opening energy turbines. Output at 80%. Sighting correction A-OK. 90. 95. I won't miss.
Secondary shield down.
Gun 13, the head's open for a direct hit!
The kick.
That freak actually did it.
Did what? The bare minimum. This is just the first hurdle.
The target's deployed drones, tourist. I'll handle them.
Those drones were the worst.
V4, load the next shell!
One step ahead of you.
By the way, if those who haven't seen that stream, you should go back and look at it. I did a 3v1 on this where I had 3 worms I was going against.
It looks like the guest
It was
of
a
honor's here.
nightmare.
Hey, buddy.
Yo, Hopeless with the raid. Hopeless. Give me a shout out here on Twitch. Thank you for the raid on Twitch. I appreciate you, dude. Give you a quick shout out. I haven't given Hopeless a shout out yet. Haven't given him a follow. Go ahead and do so. Fellow Armored Core gamer over there on the Twitch side of things. I was just telling them I was doing the stream a while ago. I got to come back to it again. I was doing the Scrap Heap mod. I did 3v1. 3v1, and I did 3 worms at once. What's up, Smiley? 3 worms at once was too much. I guess I ended up winning eventually. It felt good when I did, but man, was that a grind. I got to make that into a video at some point. Send me another DM? Yeah, I got it. I think I responded back to you, or do you send me another one? Been a while, Smiley. Yep. So Ed took a break because I had storm issues and damage. So I had to wait to get back so I could get back online. I also been hard at work on my super secret Armored Core project. Yeah, I call it the Hydra. Yes, that's not a bad way of looking at it. Yeah. Yep. 3 ice worms. That was a craziness. So I've decided that basically the final missions are not possible as they currently stand because of the way it works. But I want to try my final boss mission for 3v1 where it's triple the mission, triple the enemies. I'm trying to get it. My plan is to do the red guns mission, like attack the red guns. I want to see if I can get that one cleared with 3 times the enemies. That's my personal goal. If I do that, I'll feel happy about it. I may prep for that soon because I really want to do that. 3v1 worms was nuts. So was 3v1 enforcers and sea spiders. Actually, the whole enforcer mission was crazy because AC just kept popping out of nowhere. That was a harpoon gun? Yeah, I could see that. I could. We're on the ice for mission watching Vaati's video. It's been really good so far.
You, Commander. Finally, someone with their head screwed on straight. Never thought about switching sides? Sure is an honor to be praised by the Red Guns hell on 4 legs. But I'll pass. You won't get rid of me that easily. I am the Vespers. I am Ibis. Don't do this
Snail really likes to say that, doesn't he?
to me, Headbringer. I'm not going down first.
What?
Don't do this to me, Headbringer.
The rift worm or the ice worm? Rift. I'm gonna say ice.
I'm not going down first. Pathetic. Is that all Balaam's red guns can muster? I see.
You're crazy, Smiley. I can't do that.
Running commentary. Gun 13, show him how actions speak louder than words. Wait, something's wrong. Fall back, 621. What? We've underestimated this beast. My AC's compromised.
So each AC being blown up, that's cool.
The coral. It's out of control.
Looks like things just took a nasty turn.
Okay,
I'll set the
this,
ORC to
okay,
maximum
hold
output.
up.
Looks like things just took a nasty...
This part, imagine 3 worms spreading those all out at once. It was insane. That's what they had. You had 3 things, you had 3 sets of these happening all at the same time. It was just a sea of red on my screen. Why I did this, I do not know. But you know what? I beat it eventually.
Turn. I'll set the ORC to maximum output. We can't afford to lose control of the situation. This next shot'll be my last.
We're not through yet. Its primary shield is getting stronger.
I'm out.
Welcome in, Plus. Yeah, I ran pretty
You're
smooth
on your own
considering.
now.
Oh, Chatty.
Stay cool, buddy.
Primary shield down.
Good work, buddy. All EML modules connected. Energy turbines at full capacity.
Oh, that shot.
90.
Dude, Chad.
All
That shot?
All EML modules.
With all the ACs wrecked? Like all of them dead? Oh. Dude, Vaati, you madman. How'd you get this shot? How'd you manage to get them all lined up so they'd all be dead in a row in a viewable area of the cannon charging in the background? This is a nuts shot. Like, this had to take some time to do this. That's crazy to get this shot lined up. Luck, maybe? I don't know. It's a sick shot regardless.
Connected. Energy turbines at full capacity. Output at 80, 90. All emergency valves closed. Disabling limiter. 100.
Could be a mod, I guess.
115.
Oh, it's a nice touch.
All or nothing.
Oh, that's so good. It's so good.
The target's coral shield has been wiped out.
Cinematic as all get out. Look at, I'm doing that again. Disgusting.
110. 115. Rail cannon and magazine output. All or nothing.
Oh, the sound waves. Gosh dang it, man. Subtle movement on the grinds and the live
target's coral
swarms.
shield has been wiped out.
So good.
I'm on you now, buddy.
The coral response is getting stronger. Hurry!
He just recreated the story trailer. You see that? That's what he did. He just starts firing his chain gun that gets up close on his grill. He just recreated the story trailer. It's what he just did. The slow walk too. I know, right?
Is it over?
Oh man.
Get clear, it's gonna blow! You shitting me? The freelancer really did it. It's finally over. The blast
Music choice is cool too.
Get out of
I like it.
Coral voices. Lost again. Raven. There's something I have to tell you. The coral. It's my family. My brothers and sisters. I am but a single wave. Born from the coral tide. A Rubiconian without a body. No one even knew I was there for such a long time.
Let the spice flow.
Raven, you're the only one who...
Go get your rest, 621. Things are going to get busy.
Huh?
You did good.
Helicopter? I mean, that's a cool touch, but... Huh?
In their negotiations with Arquebus for this mission, Balaam foolishly opt for the glory of putting down the ice worm, with
It's in the cutscene, I don't remember it.
as their mascot. In exchange, they allowed Arquebus to augment their strength with the PCA's own warship fleet. Now, with the PCA's greatest asset gone, the war for the coral reignites. And while Balaam was the one forging ahead into
We're war buddies
Flashpoint
now.
Alpha,
Yes, we are.
in truth, the balance of power is increasingly tipping in Arquebus's favor.
621. You ready?
We're in chapter 4. 2
You'll
hours
be going
left.
down deep, and there's no guarantee you'll come back. Still, you're the only one who can do this. I'm counting on you to reach the coral.
Watchpoint Alpha. My brothers and sisters. They're deep inside.
The first depth of Watchpoint Alpha has you progress past the energy weapon platform called the Nepenthes. Its namesake is the infamous pitcher plant that lures insects to its edge with a sweet smell, only for them to slip into the digestive fluid at the bottom of the tube. It's aptly named, as this tunnel is much the same, and the Nepenthes has already turned half of Balam's forces to ash. I feel like it's even possible that Balam intentionally progressed past the Nepenthes without destroying it, leaving it intact to fire at their pursuers, which is Archivus. But then you come along.
Nepenthes
The
sustaining
noodle
damage.
kill. I like it.
Overriding Depth 1 defense plan.
Yeah, this mission's not the most fun.
Mission accomplished.
I mean, I understand the concept. It isn't very fun, though.
Depth 2 is more interesting. The infrastructure here is that of a rail network designed to transport resources.
I'm assuming
set up ambush.
I'm assuming you've all seen the Freebird video where the guy just drops everything. Like I don't think it's that mission. Maybe it might be a different one. Where he just does this guy just drops Freebird 316 the whole time. I'm like, okay, style points for that one.
And here it's revealed what many of Balam's forces now view you as.
And there's no way I'm showing it right now because there's no way it doesn't get copyright strike, because that song gets copyright strike like crazy.
Waiting for you, Raven. You're gonna die, traitor.
Eliminate them, 621.
Man, he likes his
but none
chainsaw.
hate you more than Gun 5 Iguazu.
You're my ticket back above ground. Let me tell you, I am sick and tired of this pit. It'll all be over once your sorry ass is dead.
Interestingly, Iguazu thinks he can negotiate to get out of this job if he brings Balam your head, but as usual, his proximity to air messes with his abilities.
My ears. Not now. That quack messed me up. Learned some new tricks, huh? I know you're laughing at me. What makes you so special, freelancer?
In reality, 621 is just emotionally detached because of their own augmentation damage. Nevertheless, your lack of response triggers Iguazu's own paranoia and sends him spiraling.
This isn't over. Next time, I swear.
Yep. Oh, I
in New Game
what
Plus,
the lady in his head calls
confronts
him.
his own shortcomings, sending a higher-ranked assassin after you instead.
You must be Raven. Yes, you do seem rather extraordinary. I see why poor Iguazu couldn't beat you. Why he abandoned his red gun pride and succumbed to his frustrations. What a
The miss, the whiff.
You shouldn't have been so hard on the poor lad.
This AC pilot is Cold Call, named after his habit of unsolicited visits. His bio reads, an independent mercenary who bargained his way into an effortless entry to Rubicon, having anticipated the extraplanetary corporation's forays well before they made their move. He is an assassin after all, naturally he's good at thinking ahead. A specialist in corporate wet work, Cold Call removes undesirable elements on behalf of those who do not wish to be seen getting their hands dirty. Quick to identify a fellow assassin, he claims that you can smell a real killer right through their AC. Indeed, Cold Call does have an extraordinary ability to suss you out.
I'd love to see it though, but no, I have not seen it.
Gen 4 augmentation.
That's funny though. Genuinely funny.
Mixed with something else, I see. How poor Iguazu must have feared it. The unknown within you.
There's even an STV sketch that...
By the way, Hopeless, I saw you were gaming and playing some AC6. What were you doing? Just like rank, or what are you working on? Yeah, Swiftwolf, I'm watching the Fiverr video. This is my third time. I watched like 2 hours the first time or so. Then the second time I went to watch it, storms went through our area and took our power out and caused damage in the area. So I was not able to get internet and do things for a couple days. So yeah, this is number 3. At least I'm trying.
Read, caught a couple of hired killers
Open
on
lobbies?
the prowl,
Gotcha.
managed to sneak in a sketch without being noticed. The fool won't pay back what he owes, one said. If I had to guess, the fool they're referring to would be Nosak, the AC hiding in the grid who refuses to pay his debts. The pair of feet on the floor could belong to one who tried to force Nosak to pay those debts, only for Nosak to kill them and flee. One of the hired standing killers could be the Collector, the AC
Xbox
pilot
Club?
who was
Cool.
caught and killed by the doses in the grid while trying to track down Nosak. As for the man hiding behind the desk, could this actually be Nosak hiding? Or is it the artist drawing themselves in the scene? Why does it look like they're holding a child? Of all the sketches, I feel like I could be getting something wrong in this one.
Huh? Yeah, that is weird. I never noticed that detail with them holding something before. A child? I don't think. Yeah, I think it's like a bag or a briefcase or something, right? Yeah, you guys didn't say anything. Yeah, it's a bag. I thought the same thing. A child would be like, what is happening in this room if there's a child? Make money to the Fight Club. That's cool. That's a good idea. Yeah, child
Like they're holding a child.
Like if he's actually hiding a child down there, that'd be the most bizarre thing ever. Like, blah, blah.
Of all the sketches, I feel like I could be getting something wrong in this one, so sound off in the comments if you have a better idea.
It comes. The inevitable.
Iguazu has more than a grudge against you. He's completely obsessed. We should be careful.
After Iguazu, you fight the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype that the PCA were developing at the time.
Intruder detected in closed sector.
I'm happy to.
Defense program.
Let me know what other days you plan on
3.0.
doing. I'll try to hop in one day.
Switching to termination mode. Terminating target.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA.
PCA's heavy reliance on AI is what helps.
There's a fair game. Wednesdays and Fridays tend to be very bad nights for me, so for the most parts of Wednesday or Friday, I'm not going to be able to do it. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and some Saturday nights and some Sunday nights, I might be able to do it.
Helps them to
I'm with you,
maintain
LTS. I like
the
this
closure
fight, but I
system
hate it
on
at the
the
same
planet,
time.
ensuring that even after they're gone, the AI will remain. There's not much else to say here except it's in this mission that Walter starts to get suspicious of you. I think he's finally starting to understand that the voice in your head might be something more.
Seems like smooth sailing, 621. As if you hardly need help from me. When'd you get so good at exploring?
Confirmed. Enemy
That
unit is silent.
Voice lines way out of line.
Walter
That's
should
way
have some
earlier in
data
this
on the
mission.
next sector. Let's take a break for now, Raven.
In Depth 3, a high-powered laser barrier is blocking the way. To shut it down, you have to destroy the adjacent reactor, but an AC is waiting to prevent your escape.
Defense program phase 5.0. Pattern C. Terminating
That's
threat.
not an AC, I didn't think.
No vital signs. There's no pilot.
That's
Is that an
Institute
AC?
Tech. 621, there's no time. Get rid of it.
This AC is named Ephemera. Its AC parts reveal that it's an unpiloted
Ephemera.
AC developed long
I never
ago
noticed
by
that
the
before.
RRI. An old development quirk allows for its piloted operation, though the unpiloted AC itself
Have a good night,
can
Hopeless.
function
Get
at a
some sleep.
higher level than human nerves can facilitate. And it's these Institute ACs that
Never
Allmind
noticed there was a
finds
Ephemera for.
particularly
The AC,
interesting.
it looks so
for
tiny.
they have a distinct focus on the biological analogies
Also uses the
between
Aurora
humanity
launchers?
and coral. A distinct focus on the
Never noticed that before.
biological analogies between
uses
humanity
Aurora and regular
coral.
nebula and regular
the
moonlight.
ACs
That's
enable
interesting.
the two to complement each other and evolve in symbiotic harmony. A fascinating approach, she says.
Maybe it's like the way
And
it's
while we're on
scaled
this
down for the
topic, we
fight.
can
It does
also
always seem
use
small to me.
Allmind's analysis to compare corporate ACs and Rubiconian ACs. As for the extraplanetary corporations, for example, they believe humanity to be powerless against its environment. Thus, they maximize the power of their ACs to subjugate their surroundings. And in contrast, the Rubiconians' ACs are defined by the human element and have a tendency to focus on harmony with the human body in varying degrees. A sign, perhaps, that
Feels
they
like a
have
Bosnian
embraced
terminal outside of
humanity's
the marina.
potential
That's not a bad
as
point,
beings that
actually.
exist within nature, and that they intend to maximize this through
Later, bud.
optimization of human-driven output. And as for Allmind's ACs, well, she tends to select for parts that have high compatibility with the traits of older generations of augmented humans. That's because she specifically needs Coral Gen augmented humans for her plans for Coral release. And you aren't her only ally in this task. She has had many allies and many plans.
This request comes from Allmind. True to form, they've sent us an encrypted message with top-level security.
Although I will say, I found out when I did the 3v1 thing plus. I think you were there for the 3v1 thing plus. Escapee. The fight where you ambush the two Arquebus ACs with Middle Flatwell, one of them has terminal armor.
I expect it must be about Coral release.
Augmented Human C4621. Raven. There is an obstacle to the project that must be removed. The target is V3 O'Keefe, an Arquebus Special Intelligence Officer. A second-generation augmented human, O'Keefe was once our ally within the corporations. But it seems he has had a last-minute change of heart and means to betray us.
Allmind never specifies how she knows O'Keefe has had a change of heart, or how he means to betray Allmind. If I had to guess, I think O'Keefe may have simply stopped feeding Allmind intel from within Arquebus. He's become apathetic.
The release project must succeed. Only an exceptional augmented human can be the key.
In this screen, we see 4 generations of coral augmented humans arranged in columns. Within these, highlighted in red, are Allmind's exceptional subjects that she, presumably, believes can trigger coral release with a wave mutation. C1249 was Sula, C4789 is Iguazu, C4621 is the player, and C3291 is... well, we don't know who C3291 is. You'd think it would be O'Keefe, but Allmind just specified that he's a second-generation augmented human, and C3291 is a third-gen. So, okay, what about Dolmayan? Well, it's possible it could be Dolmayan. Dolmayan also communicated with a wave mutation, though his communication was enabled by dosing, and it's never mentioned whether he was an augmented human at all. It could be the original Raven as well, it could be Rusty, I guess, but at this point I'm speculating so hard that it's easier to just admit we don't know. We don't know who C3291 is, and I don't think it's possible to know. But what do you think?
Looks like they found a strong candidate this time. You're one of Allmind's, right? Tired as I am, I'm not ready to die yet.
It seems you're not the first assassin that Allmind has sent. But you can be the last. Be careful, Raven.
O'Keefe's bio reads, O'Keefe is originally a member of an older generation of augmented humans, and during the Island 4 disturbance, he worked as an agent carrying out espionage activities. He was later headhunted by Arquebus's information department and agreed to sign up on the condition that they provided him with Generation 9 augmentation surgery to counteract the coral burn-in on his brain. This last part confirms that reversing the burn-in effects of coral augmentation is indeed possible, which is good news for 621. Unfortunately for O'Keefe, however, it doesn't seem to have done much to improve his state of mind. His emblem and AC name is a good reflection of his self, barren flower, once full of life, now wilted.
Life on Rubicon sure does suck, huh? Don't tell me you like it here.
But even in his despair, he's identified that his despair is still human, a far cry from whatever coral release would bring, possibilities that mankind cannot even begin to comprehend.
You don't even know what you're doing, do you? Let me tell you something, Allmind ain't worth it. You think you want coral release, but you don't. Shovel down your bland rations. Slurp your coffee-flavored sludge. Sure, it sucks, but that's being human.
Speaking of coffee, the artist STV comments that one of these Vespers offered him a cup of coffee or something like it. So if I had to guess, O'Keefe would be this man here, with a buddy by his side,
Zeta?
someone good-natured, trying to cheer him up. So this buddy would likely be Rusty.
Maybe now. I'll get some sleep. See you on the other side. Rusty.
This last line is very curious. At this point in the story, Rusty isn't dead. You've actually yet to face him in the upcoming Depths mission. So why does O'Keefe say, "See you on the other side"? It could be that O'Keefe meant this in the sense that Rusty will inevitably die eventually, and that O'Keefe will see him then. Or this line could be more ominous, and O'Keefe might know that Allmind is coming for Rusty. Allmind does have a data log that refers to Rusty's new AC and ominously says the time is not yet right, so who knows. O'Keefe might have even been tasked with killing Rusty, and perhaps this is what caused him to turn away from Allmind, and as we find out later, Allmind is most likely the character who gets to Rusty in this timeline, so it's possible that she kills Rusty and O'Keefe knew this, but this is all just speculation.
V3 O'Keefe. He may seem like a pessimist, but he lives for the way things are. A life that can't coexist with what we want.
AC.
This is a very dark take from Air. An uncountable number of O'Keefes exist within this universe, and Coral Release will thrust that uncountable number of people into, assumedly, what is an sort of eldritch, unknowable state of contact with the coral. At least O'Keefe died while he was still human. The war fatigue of other Vespers, like O'Keefe, is something that the RLF mention in their next mission, which is to ambush the Vespers V8 Pater and V5 Hawkins. To this end, Middle Flatwell, the de facto leader of the RLF, accompanies you. We know that Flatwell holds sway over a contact within Arquebus, so it's possible that contacts like these are how he lures these two Vespers into an ambush.
What could this emergency call from V2 be about, sir?
That's just Snail being Snail, my boy. He loves to send his minions running.
Sir, there'll be trouble if he hears that kind of talk.
Those were our two-numbered Vespers. Ready when you are, Raven.
Ambush! Pater! What's your status?
Superficial damage. No abnormalities.
Good. Open fire. That was a clever ruse, wasn't it, Pater? Wouldn't have been the first time Snail sent us running at a moment's notice.
All the songbirds.
We took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, sir.
If I had to guess, Pater is shown here in the STV sketch for the Vespers alongside Hawkins, mostly by the process of elimination. In terms of ACs though, Hawkins is the one in the quadruped AC. His bio reads, like Swinburne, Hawkins is a member of Generation 7 and has lost a great many colleagues and subordinates to the progress of science in revolutionizing the surgery. However, he has reached a certain peace with their sacrifices, knowing that his generation of surgery is far safer than those of the past, free of the loss of humanity inflicted on the coral technology generations or the grisly accidents of the interim generations. For a while, I'd been wondering why there is never a mention of any augmented humans from Generations 5 and 6, and Hawkins' bio explains why. These were interim generations. This was the period where augmentation was being pivoted away from using coral, and it's very likely that few, if any, survived these processes. So, in summary, generations 1 to 4 used coral pulse augmentation, generations 5 and 6 attempted to substitute the coral's effects with something else, and by generation 7 and beyond, they had achieved that substitution effect. The most modern form of augmentation is generation 10, of which Pater is a product. Pater pilots the reverse joint in this mission. His bio reads, "A product of Generation 10, the latest and currently practiced form of augmentation surgery. Pater represents the culmination of efforts to preserve the patient's humanity through coral replacement technology." You'd think that as one of the
Yeah, Pater has like world domination vibes coming out of him on this one. Like, if you kill his cohort first, like it's like he has some like weird like psychosis going on with him.
most modern augmented humans, Pater might be higher in the ranks, but instead it's commonly the opposite. If you're a modern gen augmented human, that means you've probably had less time to stick around and climb in their ranks. Pater's bio goes on to read, "At times, his noticeably unreserved remarks hint at an underlying lack of empathy. One might assume this to be a side effect of the surgery, but this trait has in fact been with him since long before his augmentation."
Want to join Vespers?
V5 Hawkins down.
No! V5, come in! V5, Pater. It doesn't sound too bad.
Pater's AC is named Dual Nature, with an emblem that also reflects his two-sided self.
Okay, can we all agree?
His two-sided
this is probably
self.
this right here
with an emblem
is hands down the creepiest emblem in the game. Like, holy crap, this is creepy. This is just disturbing on so many levels.
Emblem that also reflects his two-sided self.
And he's a psycho, so it matches. You're right.
No! I just made V5! It was a privilege, Raven. We're war buddies now. Maybe I'll find a comrade in you yet.
Here, Flatwell has the same tendency as Rusty to label you as a war buddy. It's yet another subtle hint at Rusty's true allegiance with the RLF. When Rusty calls you buddy, he's using RLF language, not something he would have picked up from the Vespers. If you take the mission to ambush the Vespers, Rusty takes the mission to intercept the Red Guns instead. In this battle, he kills Gun 1 Michigan, a task you can take on yourself if, for some reason, you want to kill the best character in the game.
Just get it done.
Vaati is a Michigan stan. I didn't know that. You know, well, if you could go that route if you want to. You know, if you want to kill the best character in the game. Yeah, you know, not at all. Nope, showing the true colors there. Don't get me wrong.
More for me to say.
I think Michigan's character, voice actor's plotline is great in this. Michigan's amazing in this game, so he's not wrong. You know, he deserves a little bit of praise. It's really good. So, yeah.
You can sense Walter's reluctance to kill Michigan. Again, earlier we established that he has a history with Michigan, and this reluctance all but confirms that to me.
Attack! Get in there, you maggots!
Wait, I missed that one.
Has a history with Michigan, and this reluctance all but confirms that to me.
Attack!
Chetty sticking player. Yeah, I am too. I like Chetty also.
Looks like Archibus sent some clown.
I like a
on
lot of the
suicide
characters in this
mission.
game.
Cute.
A lot.
Real cute.
The only clown around here is you, Kennebec. You're talking about the wall climber, the worm killer, the only Gun 13 who's managed to live this long. Until the Liger Tail deploys, the odds are not in your favor. You better keep the emergency eject primed.
Michigan's harsh language often betrays his affection for his troops. He knows them all by name, and he would rather they eject than die in battle against the wall climber.
Yeah, I heard that Merc took down Gun 5 Iguazu.
Iguazu? Oh yeah, the deserter who pissed his pants and ran.
Albany, I'd forgotten we still kept you around. Iguazu's worth 100 of you, which means, Albany, the Merc is worth 20 of him. You're doing nothing productive. Why don't you do the math for us?
The answer is 2,000 Albany, sir!
Shut your stinkhole and start
Yeah,
shooting!
the voice acting in this game is
AC
top
Liger
notch.
Tail incoming. It's Gun 1 Michigan.
Listen up, maggots. This field trip is now a
Oh,
hunting
red
expedition.
guns. So many red
You can
guns.
go home now, or follow me if you got a death wish.
Ready to die, sir!
Fifth wave. They're surging us.
How can one Merc do this alone?
Time to finish the job, 621.
Loads of the soul
Don't
armor.
let them overwhelm you. Shake off the pressure. Maggots, do you read me? You can tell this to posterity. Mean old Michigan died of a bad fall.
AC Liger Tail destroyed. Gun 1 Michigan down.
It's over. Didn't think I'd see
Died
the end
of
of
a
the red
bad
guns.
fall.
You did your job, 621. Michigan knew the score. Balaam's withdrawn from Rubicon. The politicians will be fighting their war now. Again, I kind of wish we knew what off-planet conflicts looked like. Is Balaam HQ facing consequences from the PCA for their intrusion into Rubicon? It's hard to say. 621, we're picking up where we left off. Now that you've dealt with the laser barrier, we can explore deeper underground. At this depth, we find mealworms, creatures that the Rubiconians used to breed for food, as they can subsist on the coral. Breeding pods for the mealworms. Looks like they're out
Yeah,
of
I can see that on
now.
Carla too.
From this middle point,
I feel like we
the
need more time
mealworms
with
could
Carla,
likely
or
be
a better, more
transported
fleshed
above
out
ground
angle for Carla,
or further down
other
to
than
the
just
city
like
below.
the crazed like
And
scientists
it's
who like
in
to
this depth
make things.
that we find a comms record titled
Like the fact that she never stops calling you a tourist kind of bothers me. I feel like some point you should have earned your way there, but at the same time, that's just her way of doing things. I understand that, but yeah, of all the notable characters, I think her voice actor did a great job, but her as a character seems a little too one-dimensional. I can kind of see that. She does come and help because Walter asked her to, basically, but at the same time, yeah, it's a little too like, mystery box, if that makes sense. I wish there was more back end for her.
called Message for Uncle. This MT is carrying a message referencing Steel Haze Ortus, the secret RLF project that is a
David
collaboration
Boyce calls you
between
visitor.
Baus, Elcano, and now Furlong too. It reads, I have to get this back to Uncle. Furlong agreed to provide technological assistance. So this fallen MT has the intel that Furlong have agreed to help create Steel Haze Ortus for the RLF, and they were desperate to get this intel to Fladwell. Interestingly, Furlong only agreed to provide technological assistance after the mission where we, or Rusty, kill Michigan and force Balaam to withdraw. Michigan had many former comrades at Furlong and even posted a bounty on his own head to Balaam's bounty board, with the stipulation that half of the reward money was to be distributed among his former comrades at Furlong. So I speculate that Rusty might have been counting on Furlong to support the RLF once Balaam was out of the picture all along. The log goes on to read, now the new model can finally be completed. Fladwell has to know before those two destroy each other.
Raven, I'm reading something behind us, and it's getting closer.
Yes, this fight.
deal with a mercenary who went in alone, they said. Figures. Seems both of us are too dangerous to keep around. And the higher-ups wouldn't miss an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. Hate to say it, but Rubicon still needs me. So, buddy, who needs you?
AC steel haze incoming.
On the surface,
is that the
Rusty
answer
fights you
menu
here to
theme?
maintain his
Or
cover
garage
with
theme?
Arquebus.
I don't want to dance to their tune, but this time, I don't have any other choice. I'm coming, buddy.
And maybe if he knew his new AC could be built, he wouldn't risk this fight. But in truth, he was probably always going to clash with you no matter what.
Stage
and
select.
in New Game
Okay,
Plus,
I knew it
Uncle Flatwell
involved
gets
a menu
wind
of
of this
some kind.
clash and tries, unsuccessfully, to intervene.
Rusty, wait!
Flatwell. He's a Liberation Front leader.
Rusty,
He does like his
that
fourth grade
pilot's
music though.
more than
He
just
uses
a
a lot.
hound. You don't see the potential. Oh, I see it, Uncle, but potential and danger are birds of a feather.
You represent something dangerous to Rusty and Rubicon, and that's power without purpose.
I wish it hadn't come to this. Raven, it's too late now.
Middle Flatwell arrived to this fight with half health. I was thinking perhaps he attempted to ambush the two Vespers alone and then flew here as soon as he could.
My AC can't take much more. Get out of here, Flatwell. You still have work to do. You're good. And that's not the only thing that makes you a
other than
threat.
like a menu screen is pretty good.
Something's
It fits pretty well for the
changed
dramatic
since last
overtones
time.
of this kind of mission. You kind of
But you
regret having to
still
pick
haven't
Rusty out.
found a purpose. Never failed to impress.
That was a smooth transition. I like
This
that.
isn't over yet. Buddy. Find your purpose. Then we'll settle this.
Wait, did his blade slash his
Fuck
right
over
arm?
you. Never still haven't found a purpose.
Oh, look at that. He had it slash his right
Never
arm.
failed to impress.
Oh my gosh.
But this isn't over yet. Buddy. Find your purpose. Then we'll settle this.
We've lost all signs of steel haze.
Rusty made it. Good.
I'm picking up a major coral response, coming from the bottom of the pit. Let's keep moving, Raven. A city from before the fires of Ibis.
Institute City. Of course. No wonder we couldn't find it.
Finally, Walter returns to the city he was evacuated from as a child. It was here that Professor Nagai worked with his two assistants, uncovering the mysteries of coral. These assistants were Assistant Number 2, who we can identify as Carla, and Assistant Number 1, who was Walter's father. As noted by Professor Nagai, Walter's father was utterly consumed by his research. STK even notes that he's headed for a breakdown. Indeed, coral research eventually drove Walter's father completely mad.
Let me tell you a story before you go. There once was a scientist. He abandoned his family to delve into the secrets of coral. His work yielded a carnival of horrors, augmentation surgery included.
One curious thing about these logs are that they do briefly mention Walter's mother, though only briefly, with Nagai stating that our research has robbed him of his mother. Considering the carnival of horrors and augmentation surgeries that Walter's father was pursuing, I wonder if Walter's mother became one of the earliest subjects of experimentation and died as a result, though of course this is just speculation. At any rate, with all these sins of the Institute on Nagai's shoulders, it's little wonder that he decided to remain behind. sacrificing himself to record the fires of Ibis in his last moments, creating Nagai's Log 5, which is something we loot here on an ephemera AC that likely is what remains of Nagai himself, a man who Walter admires.
But there was another scientist. He took his colleagues' sins upon himself and set it all ablaze. Died with no regrets. There's a lesson in this story. Once something's alive, it doesn't die easy. 621. Story time's over. It's time for work.
Yes, it is.
We're done with the corporations. Wipe out the Arquebus AC squad and get to the Coral first.
Thanks to their coral generators, the Institute machines still function, left intact by the PCA to help defend the coral.
That machine was running on stable energy for half a century. Perhaps it should be no surprise that humanity so desires coral.
These Institute relics are such pests.
No, he's not.
That's the Arquebus AC squad. Isn't that one with the
He gets
red
to the
guns?
point.
This is Wu Huahai, formerly Gun 3 of the Red Guns. His bio reads, a born con artist, no scheme was too underhanded for Wu Huahai during his days as a criminal mastermind, and exploitation of others was a byword for opportunity. However, his illicit feng shui pharmacy operation was a fatal overstep, imperiling the health of Balam's economic sphere and leading to widespread disease. If you recall, Gun 4 Volta's bio has a line about him learning business from Wu Huahai. They might even be talking here in the sketch. Or perhaps this is Gun 6 Red and Wu Huahai is back here being shady. It's unclear. Anyway, back to the bio. It was Nile, now the deputy commander of the Red Guns, who ultimately shut Wu Huahai down. This suggests that Nile shut down Wu Huahai back when Nile was a commander of the Balam Security Force,
Yeah, Ragnar.
the group that preceded
Or
the Red
Ragnar,
Guns.
should I say properly,
And since
excuse me.
Wu Huahai is Gun 3 of the Red Guns, right behind Michigan and Nile, it's possible that these three were potentially the founding members of the Red Guns. It seems that even though Wu Huahai was a criminal, his arrest was turned to his own advantage, at least.
You're Raven, the independent mercenary.
Man,
Decided to
the
ignore
Lance is
Arquebus's
so good in
orders, did you?
PvE. It wrecks in PvE.
Now that Balam is out of the picture, Gun 3 has joined forces with Arquebus, turning things
That's a
to
nice
his own
shot right there.
advantage
I like that
once
shot.
again.
Balam was a sinking ship, but Arquebus' star's on the rise. And me, I'll be well rewarded when I bring them your head on a silver platter. Yes,
Greater.
I smell opportunity.
Huahai fights alongside V6 Maeterlinck, 6th squad leader of the Vespers. Maeterlinck is a product of Generation 8, which was held to have advanced the process to the point of rendering all previous generations obsolete, bringing about a new age of augmentation. Unfailingly loyal to Arquebus, she has a reliable track record in the field, and her conduct during missions has established her as a risk-averse problem solver.
V2 Snail, come in. The Raven has landed. Requesting backup.
Maeterlinck can be identified in the Arquebus photo here, not just because she's their only female pilot, but because she's following closely in the leader's footsteps, Snail, who is probably walking alongside Swinburne here, another of his adjutants. Maeterlinck was unfailingly loyal to Snail and Arquebus, but in this moment that loyalty is not returned, and she goes out fretting about the risk of the situation without hearing a single word from Snail.
This is too risky. Commander, V2 Snail! Please, come in! This is Maeterlinck, requesting backup!
All good, Altius, no worries.
Secure the area, 621.
Please, Snail, come in!
Oh, that was a nice pile, Vaati.
Vespers left her for dead.
I'll watch that again. That was a nice boost in, but that was nice.
The area, 621.
Please, Snail, come in!
The Vespers left her for dead. That wasn't pretty.
And the credit shall be all mine. What a fabulous opportunity. Did I misread the signs?
Metalink's comms reveal that Snail is in the area. Indeed, the only real purpose Huahai and Metalink served was to lull you into a false sense of security, for him to ambush you later. But first, Arquebus want to use you to take out this IB-01, a designation that marks it as the first of the Ibis
Yeah,
series.
exactly. Plus, we all have those
Before
moments.
IB-02, the
Absolutely
Iceworm,
no judgment or
and
issues on our end. Trust
IB-07,
us.
a coral-powered AC.
No judgment.
These three machines are experimental weapons developed by the Institute, but kept secret as it was feared they were outside of human control. This is because they weren't.
By the way, this is the most Miyazaki boss of all Miyazaki bosses right here. I feel like Miyazaki had to have a hand in the design of Ibis. Like, this is the most Miyazaki thing just about in the entire game, as far as enemies go. This is like, this design has Miyazaki. I know he handed the reins off, but this straight up has Miyazaki signs.
Weren't just powered by coral, they can be controlled by it as well.
Listen up, 621. The Ibis series are
That
no
transition
ordinary
is so
weapons.
much damage. That had to be a lot.
They're designed to prevent coral disasters.
Punch.
A security measure to keep Rubicon
Slow.
safe.
Dead, quote
But now
unquote.
their original masters are long gone. Destroy it before it destroys you.
Did you ever wonder why the fires were called the Fires of Ibis? It's because of the Ibis machines, like Cell 240 here, which were deployed by Professor Nagai at the Institute to burn the coral and spark the fires all those years ago.
Run the calculations. How much time do we have? 47 hours, 2 minutes, 16 seconds. We still have time. Deploy Ibis.
Back then, the coral was reacting to a wave mutation, and the coral was resonating. This would have led to coral collapse and coral release. In response, Nagai deployed Ibis to burn the coral as this desperate attempt to prevent what he considered to be a coral disaster. In the eyes of Professor Nagai, burning the stars themselves would be preferable to whatever disaster coral release would bring. And so some of the Ibis series, we don't know exactly which, were deployed towards this, the surging tower in the backdrop of your fight, the vascular plant. It's the single biggest structure on all of Rubicon, which once stood so tall that it scraped the edge of space itself. This is perhaps why
a lot of things
the
survived, as you can see.
NGI 001 boosters of the Institute say they make allowances for exo-atmospheric operation.
Way to survive.
The vascular plant is just that tall, and so
that's a nice
Institute
little
AC designs
drawing.
needed to make allowances.
That's a nice little drawing you have going
dubs
here.
the
I like
edge
this.
of space itself. This is perhaps why
Custom
the
drawing, custom
NGI
artwork for this
001
little,
boosters of the Institute
this video.
say they make allowances for exo-atmospheric operation. The vascular plant is just that tall, and so Institute AC designs needed to make allowances for its defense. For nothing was more precious than this plant, because it's capable of drawing coral from all across Rubicon to itself. Yet, this huge store of coral would eventually surge, blowing the top off the vascular plant and spelling Rubicon's end at the hands of Ibis.
The kick kill.
Is it over, 621?
The coral resonance. It's fading. The machine's resolve, inherited from its creators. Voices from the past, fading into...
No! 621, move!
Raven, you're losing control!
Armor Core 6 patch 1.0 accurate damage for the stun needle.
Damn it. They were one side. Target neutralized.
Ibis got
Yes,
bullied.
it is. I left the subject alive as instructed. Only a fool would try to outfox Arquebus. I'll see that the unruly dog is punished and brought to heel. Oh, and of course, let's not forget the Hound's master either.
In this timeline, Arquebus inevitably claim the vascular plant, repair it, and use it to siphon Coral once more, and 621 is captured by Arquebus, as is Walter himself, forcing our handler to resort to a backup plan, which was always destined to play out.
Raven?
Yeah, I remember this scene surprised me.
I found a message
I wasn't
addressed to you.
expecting this when that happened in the game.
Decoding and playing back.
621. A friend of mine sent a request. No. This one comes from me. You know what hidden dangers lurk within the coral. The fires of Ibis should have wiped the coral out, but it survived, gathered, and it's been steadily multiplying ever since. Now the coral convergence is growing at an exponential rate. Eventually, it'll spill out from Rubicon
Hey,
and contaminate
Sundance.
space
Yeah,
itself.
the opposite of plot armor. Yep.
Walter has a good point here. Coral multiplies exponentially in a vacuum, and space is a vacuum. So far, the coral has probably stayed on Rubicon because it's drawn back towards the other coral on the planet, but Overseer fears it will eventually spill out from Rubicon, eventually overflow from a full planet, perhaps.
The coral must be burned, 621. Even if that means reigniting the fire that scorched the stars. This isn't an order. It's a legacy. My fallen friends entrusted this duty to me, and now it's my turn to hand it on. 621. Feed the fire. Let the last cinders burn. I have one last job for you. Find your freedom.
Somehow, probably with the hacking abilities of Air on your side, you escape re-education and begin swimming towards an AC. The fact that you're clearly swimming here really puts to rest early theories that 621 doesn't have a functional body. They're heading towards Jailbreak, an ancient Baus AC that has been repaired by Carla's RAD engineers, who infiltrated Institute City and made field repairs while you were undergoing re-education on site.
I found some coordinates in the AC systems. He's showing us the way out.
That's true.
Can't believe they put us on sewer duty.
Oh.
It's that ancient pieces of shit they're worried about.
AC6 trailer music.
Is that an AC? Where'd it come from? That piece of scrap's alive. Is that Institute tech?
You should avoid combat as much as possible, Raven. I'm afraid this AC is no match for your abilities.
This is V5 Pater, calling all security team members. Raven, the independent mercenary subject to re-education, is on the run. I have direct orders from B2 Snail. Capture Raven and send the fugitive to the factory this time.
We're not far from our destination, Raven. What's this? I've checked. It's not a trap.
Emergency beacon intercepted. Been a while, tourist. Good to see you're still kicking.
Jetty.
Chief's coming to pick you up. Head to the rendezvous point.
Hey, tourist! Having a little trouble?
Carla.
Walter. He asked me to look after you. Don't mind if I do.
You should have let me handle
Little
this.
imperative. Broken,
RAD
busted.
needs you in one
Good.
piece.
You're missing the point, Chatty. This is our tourist grand escape. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Sending a chopper. We retrieved the tourist's AC, too.
Once we've caught our breath, let's talk. About Walter.
It's at this point that you, Chatty, and Carla return to the xylem. This enormous craft is Overseer's ace in the hole. It's a powder keg with which they can burn the coral, provided you can take over its systems before Arquebus intervene.
Reinforcements! There's a lot of them.
Looks like they're falling over each other to get your autograph, tourist.
Give me 30 seconds and we'll have full admin access.
That in the zone.
Just a little more, tourist.
Love this guy.
Escalating to top-level privileges. Owner, Cinder Karma.
Good job holding out, tourist. Now I'll show you what this city really is.
The water level's falling.
Good use of the AC6 trailer music. I like it.
No, the whole
time it's
city's
been very
rising.
good.
You can thank Walter for the tip. I give you the colony ship, Xylem. Walter's parting gift.
Walter's
Precaution is better than a cure. So reads the Latin text at the bottom of the Overseer logo, which depicts two people tending to the tree's branches before they grow out of control. Fittingly, though, the tree has branches above and roots below that lie out of reach, not unlike the coral in Rubicon's atmosphere and the coral in its underground veins. This is Overseer, the Association of Observers, a group with a goal to monitor the coral's growth so that they could burn it at its limit point before the collapse came. And a part of their plans seems to have always been the Xylem, the colony ship built by the Institute, which is equipped with the means to crash into the vascular plant and set it all alight.
Howdy, man.
It takes a lot to set coral to burn en masse,
Everyone's had a
but if
Xeno.
you manage to make it burn and you burn enough of it, it's capable of setting entire star systems aflame before stopping. The Xylem is the key to that, and in every timeline of Armored Core 6, it's...
I gotta give the guy a shout out here. So, Xeno Drums here. He's stopping by for a minute. The only one that's zealous, my best friend in the whole world. Best friend since high school. Best man in my wedding. I'm soon to be best man in his wedding. Those of you might know him from the PvP showcase. The man with infinite charisma, as I like to call it. Awesome, and did an awesome job with the PvP showcase, co-hosting with Vampy. Go give him a follow if you haven't already. Ridiculously talented drummer. I mean, talent that's insanely good. So if you want a good drum stream, covers mostly anime and VG covers. On Sunday, you have those warm-up streams. But yeah, definitely go give Xeno a follow if you haven't already. Awesome drummer. Awesome drummer.
set hurtling towards the
and a fellow OG
Overseer
over armor core nerd like
helm.
myself.
Is that the Observer's plan? The corporations want only to devour the coral. The Observers fear the coral and want only to eradicate it.
Have you seen this yet, Z?
I believe in the shared potential of humanity and the coral. Raven, I need to ask you something.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts.
And this is where you need to make a decision. For
Chapter
Rubicon
5.
has 3 fates that await it.
Hour
Do you
15
side
left.
with Overseer and burn the coral? Do you defend the coral and fight for a future for all Rubiconians? Or do you fight for coral release and force the universe to accept Symbiosis?
I kind of want to stop here. There's an hour and 15 minutes left. We're going to be going through all 3 endings, it looks like. Take them, I don't want to stop. I'll let it go for a while.
With the coral. Personally, I opted to burn the coral in my first playthrough. a path that begins with the mission to fight off Arquebus as they try to wrest control of the xylem away from
I also
you.
did this too. My ending I picked was also burning the coral the first time.
Arquebus has sent its entire force after the xylem. We're trying to fend them off, but honestly, we've got our backs to the wall right now. That's where you come in. Leave the grunts to Chatty and the others. I've found someone just right for you. V1 Freud, the ace leading the corporate force.
Freud's bio reads, Commander of the Vespers, an ace pilot who achieved an astonishing 94.7% mission success rate during the Island 4 disturbance.
Yeah, I don't blame you all, TS.
So,
I took a look
like
at the side,
V3
too.
O'Keefe,
At
Freud
overtime
fought
also.
in the Island 4 disturbance. Clearly, this was an important war.
Basically, every choice I made was to go against the Arquebus side of things because I didn't like Arquebus as much as I like Balaam. So yeah, it became kind of easy. That's how I ended up at the Fires of Ibis ending.
Arquebus's past, similar to what the Jupiter War was to Balaam. Freud is widely suspected to be a recipient of repeated adjustments, much like Snail. However, the real Freud is simply an ordinary human being, a man who enjoys piloting his AC and making incremental improvements on his daily sorties. So, Freud isn't augmented, but despite this, he pilots at a higher level than almost anyone. It's a pretty striking reveal that augmentation is nothing compared to a man obsessed with customizing and perfecting his AC.
Also, I didn't really trust Air
Fittingly,
either.
his AC's name is Locksmith, the perfect tool for undoing any challenge that stands in his way. So, bearing this
By the way, still kind of
characterization
don't
in
trust Air
mind,
very much.
this is probably Freud here, in the STV sketch, the unaugmented human standing apart from his fellow Vespers, perhaps busy analyzing a new AC part on his screen instead.
You must be a Raven. Never sparred with one of Walter's hounds before. This had better be worth it. Let's get this trash out of the way.
Call him Chatty trash. That's the reason I hate Arquebus.
Chatty! Chatty, he's...
AI-controlled AC, always the same.
Freud lives for the fight, something you're just not going to get with an AI-controlled AC.
Do it, tourist.
Man,
I haven't seen
the
moves
vitriol
like
in her
that
voice
before.
acting there was good.
Interesting.
That's some good
This is
venom
no
in your
time for
speech
fun
right
and
there.
games, Freud. Our objective is to seize the xylem. You can ignore the mutt.
Despite being V1, Freud hasn't played a part in any of our missions until now. The closest he came to being deployed was during the Wall Climber
Oh, by the
mission,
way, Z, do you like the
we
Golden
took
Jacko?
over his role there instead. So clearly, in the Wall Climber mission and here now as well, Snail is still considered to be the de facto leader of Arquebus's efforts in Rubicon, despite Snail being V2.
The dual Zims,
But in truth, Freud's the one in charge, when he wants to be.
Yes, Snail. You're right. Now then, let's continue. I'm glad I chose your company over Snail's.
Yep,
You
exactly.
fight like a hound on the hunt. At this altitude, I'd expected a scavenger bird. What a glorious view. What I wouldn't give to fight like this. Forever.
Show him that we're not doing this for fun.
Not now. Locksmith. More. I want more.
Confirmed. V1.
Man just wants a
Freud
good fight.
down. Just went to say goodbye to Chatty. He was an AI I developed. Could have moved him into a new body, but... well, I never could bring myself to back him up. Be like taking the life out of him. You seem like you've lost someone too. Hope I'm just imagining things.
This next mission takes place at the Kármán line, a real-life boundary that stands between Earth's atmosphere and outer space.
This mission is
Here,
nuts.
the air is thick with residual
moral
coral
of the story:
from fires
always
of
save
Ibis.
your game.
Cinders, which apparently
oh man,
represent
number of times
an
I didn't
unlimited
save on
source
certain AC
of
missions
energy
where you had to
to your
restart if you didn't
AC.
have a save was bad.
You use this to punch through the Arquebus warships that they pillaged.
Yeah, the infinite
from the
energy this
PCA.
mission gave you was crazy.
Good job. That's this sector dealt with.
Baltius music.
Wait, what's that? We're under attack? Tourist! Unidentified AC on the xylem. Head back, pronto!
Here we are, buddy.
Oh man,
I was
don't
right
give me
all
that.
along.
You sound so.
You were just another threat to.
You sound so disappointed in us, Rusty. That hurts my soul when you say it like that. I don't like it. It hurts my soul.
Rubicon.
His emblem has been redesigned. Rusty is muzzled no longer.
Even with the combined might of the corporations, I couldn't stop you. But this new AC can.
What's sad is I think his original AC is better. I think Ortis is actually worse.
Steel Haze Ortus is the
Rusted
culmination
Pride.
of secret
Ugh.
collaboration between Baus, Elcano, Furlong, and the RLF, inspired by prototype plans stolen from Arquebus and piloted by the most talented pilot in the AC-6 universe, apart from you, of course.
Always were at your best under pressure, buddy.
Opening with the kick.
But this ends here and now. They've always been after Rubicon, taking what they can get. Someone has to put an end to this injustice.
Rusty sided with Arquebus to make use of their might, killing his true allies in order to gain corporate trust, or so he could betray them at the crucial moment. But in the end, you
that's
become
a sick
the greatest
shot
threat
with the
to Rubicon.
spitting laser. Look at that.
Corporate trust.
Look how
also,
awesome
he
that
could
shot
betray
is.
them
Oh, that's so good. That is so good.
at the crucial moment. But in the end, you become the greatest threat to Rubicon, not Arquebus.
Where did this resolve come from? You must have chosen something, sacrificed something. You found your purpose, didn't you, buddy?
The word Ortus means dawn or sunrise, and indeed, this AC is intended to usher in a new dawn. And fittingly, Steel Haze Ortus can also do something that no other AC can, pushing past the point where it should have been destroyed.
I won't stop. Chase the clouds from over Rubicon. Only I can fly high enough.
I see you, Vaati, giving Rusty a proper send-off.
Must be heavy. This purpose you found. You finally shown me who you are.
Ah, man, you're making me feel things, Vaati. Stop
It's
it.
too late now, but it didn't
Stop
have to
hitting me
be
in the
this way.
feels. Stop.
Rusty finally had everything he needed to fight Arquebus,
Stop
but
hitting
was
me in the
forced to
feels.
fight and die against you.
Oh, that
instead.
charge up. I'm
But
doing it
was
again.
forced to fight
Oh.
and die against you instead.
You flew just out of reach. Buddy.
Oh, that buddy. Oh.
Buddy, huh? Do him a favor, tourist. Remember him. Satellite cannons? This isn't right. There's no way the corpse did the closure
LCD shot.
system.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who's controlling them?
If Carla considers the closure system almost impossible to crack, then it must be. We can trust her capabilities as a hacker. So, the only one who could take control this fast is Air, a coral data conduit filled with new resolve.
Raven, I was the one who fired the satellite cannons. I know that you've made your choice. Then I must do my duty As a Rubiconian,
There's a lot left for Fires of Raven. What's going on
I'm
here?
waiting at the closure station.
Wow. Oh, wait.
Come to me, Raven.
As Carla and the Xylem hurtle towards the vascular plant, you arrive at Station 31, the satellite station that Branch attacked to open up the closure system and Rubicon.
You know, for a tourist, you've got a sense of humor. Good luck out there.
Raven, I know you can still see it.
I can. The
The
divorce
voices of the
ending.
coral.
I've never heard it called that
And yet
before.
you turned
That's
your
great.
back on our shared
The
potential.
divorce ending is perfect. Oh my word.
You want to silence us forever.
Ooh, that music choice is great.
Raven, I will stop you. I will stop you and the Xylem, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine.
LS, I like
Symbiosis,
it.
a shared
LS
life.
slicer, laser drone.
I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
Oh, sick.
In cut dialogue, Air reveals that she's piloting one of the Ibis series, IB-07, what she calls a human creation beyond human control, which is exactly what
these
many
shots
at the
are
Institute
gorgeous.
feared.
Raven,
That custom camera mod he
You're
had
strong.
made doing work right here.
dangerous. I will hold nothing back.
The ghost air is coming to blade you.
I realize what you are. The spark of war. The fires that haunt Rubicon.
Earlier, we established that voices exist within the coral, that even the cinders are like ghosts of the past.
No, my brothers and sisters. Humanity wants to burn it all. Everything on Rubicon. I won't let you. Your fire must die.
Here, you work towards one of the futures that Allmind feared, that the coral would be reduced to cinders, ghosts left behind on the husk of a planet with nothing left to offer.
I agree, Eric.
I still believe.
Divorce ending complete.
Shared dream.
I'm gonna call it that from now on, by the way. Thank you, Plus. That's my official.
She reached out
That's
to
my
you
official title for this
final
ending from now
moments,
on. This is
still
divorce
believing
ending.
that coral
I'm calling it that
has a
forever
future,
now.
even as the xylem sets it all ablaze. And she might be right. The coral survived the fires once before, after all.
Time to burn it all. Better run.
There were no winners at the close of the Coral War.
Ooh, bringing the voice actor back.
When
I like
the storm of fire finally faded, only the ashes of civilization remained. Ruined and haunted, the corporations made a joint announcement with the Planetary Closure Administration. Rubicon was to be abandoned, left a dead planet forever. Meanwhile, the monster who burned the stars vanished into the flames, never to be heard from again. Yet history would forever remember the fires of Raven.
Bringing back the loader 4 loadout. I like it.
And somehow, 621 survives, getting out ahead of the flames able to hear a posthumous recording from Handler Walter.
621. Looks like you got the job done. You chose to carry our burden and right the wrongs of the past. I'm sorry. And I'm grateful. 621. There's nothing left to bind you. Whatever choices you make now, I just hope you find your true potential.
I don't know, blow stuff up for more.
This dialogue is
money.
kind of designed to make you want to
More
play
money.
through another time. There are other choices waiting for you, and so let's go back 3 missions and make a different choice. This time we'll side with Air. We'll save the Coral, we'll ally with the Rubiconians, and we'll eliminate Syndicala on the Xylem as it hurtles towards the vascular plant.
Here we go.
I understand how you feel about
Liberator
betraying
ending
Walter's
incoming.
last wishes and taking on Carla. But still, I want you to give me a chance. I'm not asking Walter's hound, but Raven, the independent mercenary.
Rubiconian apes, out of my way!
Here you can decide to fight Snail, but you can also choose to ignore
Which
him.
I did.
You both share a goal
I think all of
to
us
take
did.
out the Xylem, after all.
I think almost all of us
and
killed Snail.
He is not what
Did
you're
anyone here
truly
not
here
kill
for.
Snail? I think all of us probably
Let me
killed
tell
Snail.
you my motto, tourist. Get your laughs while you can.
Exactly,
I don't
he
know
had it
what you're
coming.
up to, but you better make it worth it. Chetty, you know what we're dealing with. Pin that tourist down.
Roger, Chief. Supporting.
Don't let them team up on you.
Walter told me, you know. Looks like you made a friend of your own.
Yeah, this is the jazzy version of Rough
But
and
it's
Decent.
good to
Yep,
make a choice.
from Disc 3.
Sit on the fence, and you make no enemies. Or friends.
This confirms what we suspected earlier. At some point in your previous missions, probably when you get so good at exploring in Chapter 4, Walter realizes that you are communicating with a voice in your head. Carla's dialogue here suggests that he knew the voice had affected your decision to protect the Coral, which is to say, he was okay with burning away a being that you at least thought was real.
This is bad, Chief. Some tourist.
Chatty, did you just laugh? I owe you one, tourist. No one's ever made him laugh
It's
before.
going to be a super obscure Lord of
Carla
the Rings
was willing
reference?
to go out in flames, willing to sacrifice herself in an attempt to
You
wipe
want care
away
to
her
elaborate
sins,
there, kid?
as well as the sins of her colleagues at the Institute. For it was everyone at the Institute who unleashed the carnival of horrors that was coral experimentation.
I mean, maybe.
And if she was successful in burning the coral, such horrors would, theoretically, never be perpetrated again. But in this timeline, you cause her to fail in this mission. And while she does have one last plan, she's forced to die in her AC here. There's no point in her ejecting now, after all.
Gotta face the music. Chatty, it's all you.
Carla's AC is called Full Course, and the flavorful names of her parts reveal that signature sense of humor that she has, even in the face of death.
Chief, she's dead, tourist. You have made a big mistake.
Daddy, with some real emotion being sensed there.
Tourist.
Some genuine anger in his AI.
Never loses.
What? The Xylem's control center is locked out.
Let me, Chief. I'll take us over the finish line.
In the previous timeline, Carla refused to back up Chatty, believing that such an act would be tantamount to killing him. Chatty is an AI, but Carla deemed him special enough to deserve one life, just like any human would have. However, when Carla saw you turn against them, she made that difficult decision and, quote-unquote, killed Chatty. knowing his sacrifice might be necessary to secure the xylem.
Oh no. Cinder, Carla. Vital signs lost. Activating perimeter protocol. Xylem propulsion vector locked.
Even toys.
All systems locked out.
Carla had planned everything.
Been a long time since I've
Even
read the
her own death.
Silmarillion. Like,
Just
we're
like
talking
Walter,
15 plus years.
They both wanted someone to inherit
So
their
I don't
legacy.
remember a thing, basically.
The Rubiconians are continuing to resist the corporations on the ground, even now. The potential of humanity and Coral isn't the only thing we have to protect. Raven, there has to be something we can do.
With the xylem rendered inoperable, the only thing left to do is take it down. If the generators and engines can be destroyed, then the xylem will fall, crash into the same ocean it rose from.
One more thing. I took the liberty of using your name to rally allies to our aid. Beyond scorched skies, Raven fights on.
Well,
no
thank you,
one
Air.
has shaped Rubicon's destiny as much as you have. Come and see what the name Raven means to them. V4, Rusty, was the first to offer his help.
It looks like the guest of honor's here. Hey, buddy. Never thought I'd be
he's not
rubbing
disappointed
shoulders
with
with
us
the
anymore.
liberator of Rubicon.
Yay!
Every Rubiconian who heard your cry rose up to fight. Let's show them there's a future for Rubicon beyond these scorched skies.
Here, Rusty finally pilots Steel Haze Ortus, the weapon he originally planned to use in Rubicon's war against Arquebus, but he couldn't have envisioned having to use it like this.
Never thought the plan would go so wrong. But it's good teaming up with you again. Couldn't have hoped for a better silver lining.
One generator destroyed.
Looks like the Liberation Front has broken into Institute City. You should hear this. Patching you in.
Now, comrades, rout the corporations! We'll show Raven. The Rubiconians will wallow in the ashes no more.
Slogans scrawled in ash were never going to change Rubicon. Cinders are alive with flame once more.
Dolmayan's slogans, calling for Rubiconians to find purpose in the ashes, weren't enough. Victory was going to require heroes like Middle Flatwell and Rusty, who called for a future for Rubicon beyond its own skies, beyond just dosing. And here in the clouds, the hero representing that freedom is you. In this moment, the Rubiconians make their final stand, fighting against the corporations on the ground, while Arquebus tries to stop the xylem overhead, the same xylem that threatens an entire star system. The Rubiconians, though, have nothing left to lose, and if the xylem can be stopped, then it's up to them to reclaim their planet from Arquebus. So they pick this moment to strike.
Surround the plant! Keep pushing them back! It's time. Deploying the Schneider AC.
Even Rusty's old Schneider AC is being put to use.
Sounds like quite the party down there. Love to see all my hard work paying off.
Rusty then goes on ahead to intercept a fleet of warships from Arquebus. They might share our goal of taking out the xylem, but they're still the enemy, and you just know Rusty has been dying to let his new AC loose on Arquebus.
Target is 1AC. Identification V4. Rusty? He's supposed to be dead.
This line of dialogue from Arquebus reveals that Rusty fakes his death and goes into hiding after our altercation with him back in Chapter 4.
All Skirmian generators destroyed. Get clear, Raven. The drive block's going to explode.
Bad news, buddy. Something's headed straight for your position. I've never seen something move that fast.
The PCA hardware that Arquebus boosted, it includes Bolteus, which Arquebus has now.
By the way, if you run the Sightseer mod or, Tourist mod or whatever, and go around and actually view this map without boundaries, this version of Balteus Snail, or Snail T as some people call it, actually loads in with the map loaded. You actually can just fly around the entire outside of the map and he'll be there the whole time.
Now improved with tech of their own.
Raven the independent mercenary.
Run the bubble guns to get rid of the blade, getting rid of the pulse barrier. I like it.
That machine!
You're below that. You are vermin.
Analyzing enemy data. AAP-07A. Archibus Balteus. Pilot identified as V2 Snail.
The xylem is doomed. Good. It would be most inconvenient to see our hard-won coral go up in smoke. Rabble-rousing the locals. Another inconvenience, but I'll overlook that. No. Your crime is that you ignored me. Ignored Archibus. You are vermin, and I will be rid of you.
Energy output's off the charts. Be careful, Raven.
To Archibus, there's only one thing standing in the way of total control. You. After they've dealt with the wall climber, they'll be able to eradicate the RLF.
He did that fight a few times,
of course,
that movement so well.
At this point, they're only just comprehending the threat that is Rusty.
We're losing the flagship!
Boy fighters, we need cover!
Knew there'd be more. I'm beat, buddy. Well, you're gonna finish this, right? I guess I'm not done yet, then.
Out of my sight, vermin!
You know what? That's a nice touch that has him going out taking the ship's out while you're doing this. That's a nice touch. So this is the mission you do instead of taking out Rusty. So it shows Rusty taking the ship. That's a nice touch. I like that a lot, actually.
That traitor V4, those dolts at command. And worst of all, you, the pest of Rubicon who stirred the cinders. You sicken me, all of you. I'll crush you underfoot. I am Archibus. No, I am Archibus. One last plan.
One last plan. Credits to him on the death screen. By the way, both the death screen for the English VA and the Japanese VA are both fantastic, by the way. If you've not heard the Japanese voice actor dying on this for Balteus, for Snail, it's really good too. That death screen was like stuff of legends.
Confirmed. V2 Snail, down.
Sounds like it's over. I just about managed.
A local restaurant said.
Man.
The last sound you hear is the sound of a coral rifle going off, obliterating Rusty, who is caught off guard in this critical state after taking out Archibus's interceptor.
Here, 1 second. Yeah, let me show it to you real quick. You got to see this if you haven't already. I feel like someone actually died to get that scream. I mean, that's nuts right there. That Japanese death scream is crazy. It's so good. I feel like someone actually got murdered to get that sound bite. That sound bite was nuts.
Fleet alone, so he wouldn't have had time to eject.
Rusty's signal just disappeared. Raven, it seems we've got trouble ahead. We need to take down the xylem fast. Port chamber is silent. Starboard chamber is silent.
Come on. Really? I know you've had an affinity for assault armor this entire playthrough. You use it in all kinds of random places, but really, assault armoring the engine? Was that necessary? Really? Like,
The xylem is falling from orbit. The coral's safe. Rubicon's safe.
Yeah, true. You get this assault boost into it. Just keep busting against it. That's true. Gotta break its pulse armor.
621.
621. Man.
Is that?
I hate having to kill Walter. I hated it. I hated it so much. I was so conflicted doing this. I hated doing it. That's my least favorite ending for that reason. I hate doing this. Oh.
Is that you? They. 621.
Trailer music's back out again.
I have to dispose of you.
This is Snail's last plan, to unleash a re-educated husk of Handler Walter, piloting an AC that a briefing reveals Arquebus found in the ruins of Institute City, HAL 826, the last of the Ibis series.
Walter! But that AC... Picking up a coral response. Watch out!
The noodle.
Corporations. Orders. No. My friend's mission.
Nice bunk.
Eliminate all obstacles.
When Walter says friends, he's not just talking about Professor Nagai. He's likely talking about all of Overseer, who put him on this path to right the wrongs of the past, a goal to undo the sins of his father. Now, Walter has been torturously re-educated to do two things against his will. He's been reprogrammed to stop the xylem, and he's being forced to kill you, even though it's too late for any of these things to matter.
Whatever they did, you're in danger. We have to defend ourselves.
That voice. 621. I see it next to you. Yes. Kindling for the fire.
But finally, Walter can see air at our side. He is in an AC designed to seek and burn the coral, after all.
Oh,
Raven,
the conflicting
we're
assault
re-entering
armor.
Rubicon's
Sick.
atmosphere.
Do it again.
There's no time. Hurry!
Do it again. So good.
Raven, we're re-entering Rubicon's atmosphere. There's no time. Hurry!
Once something's alive, it doesn't die easy. You have to burn every last cinder. Burn the coral. Our job will be over. You earned all the credits. Undo the surgery. Be normal again.
Raven! Walter!
Yeah, the backdrop of this is sick. You're right. Oh, the Haldeman shot, really, to do it?
621. The mission. My friend's wishes. Look at you, 621. You found a friend.
In this moment, the xylem is already doomed. We could leave, Air is quite clear about desiring this deeper symbiotic future for humanity and Coral, especially in this third ending we're about to discuss,
hey, Gene,
where
welcome
Air
in.
has it within her to be quite ruthless.
I've only had a
about
couple things I've had some
goal,
slight issues
especially
with,
if it's
guesswork wise
as well.
But
This
honestly,
is the
overall,
third
I have no real complaints.
And ending of Armored Core
I think
6.
it's been really good.
Aliyah,
Some of the cinematic
Iacta
shots and some of the
est.
shot placement is
The die
really cool.
is cast.
All right. We got 40 minutes of this thing left. I've been at this for almost 2.5 hours now. I have work in the morning. I'm probably going to have to call it here and make this a 4-parter. Like, the video was just going to be a 3-parter stream, but when my power died last week, it just kind of, kind of became the point. But, yeah, that's, dang, man, this has been good. Like, real good. Like, the cinematography on this is phenomenal in some of these places. Like, I'm gonna go back here. I don't know if you saw this, Z. Let me go back to this real quick. This shot at the end of the Iceberg mission is insane.
All EML 90. Energy turbine.
Watch this. So, so obviously he's showing the fact that everyone dies, right? Showing the fact that everyone dies. You have all the ACs are destroyed, except for you. Look at this shot at the very end for the very last shot by Rusty.
Primary shield down.
Good work, buddy. All EML modules connected.
Look at this shot. It's all the destroyed ACs in a line with the rail cannon charging in the background. This shot is a phenomenal. It's insane. Lining this up is ridiculous. It's so good. Then you have the slow-mo, and the shot itself was really good too.
Energy turbines at full capacity. Output at 80, 90. All emergency valves closed. Disabling limiter. 100, 110, 115. Rail cannon at maximum output. All or nothing.
Oh, it's so good.
The target's coral shield has been wiped out.
It's on you now, buddy.
And then how he blows it up too.
The coral response is getting stronger. Hurry!
Like going like recreating the trailer where he goes like point blank with the miniguns. Oh gosh, man, it's so good.
Is it over?
It's clear, it's gonna so blow. Well done. Props to you, Vaati. This is amazing. Very well done cinematography. It's crazy. Yeah, with the Dune soundtrack, it helps a lot too. Yeah. By the way, the man himself, Vaati, liked that I'm looking at this tonight. The man himself liked the tweet. So, if you ever, I don't know if you ever going to see this, Vaati, but if you ever do, dude, this is phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing the last ending. The Aliyah ending should be awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. It does feel good. You're right. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing this last bit. This last 40 minutes should be crazy. I'm looking forward to it. I'll play the stream. It'll either be tomorrow night or Thursday probably. But I will plan for it then. But let's go ahead and raid somebody who's doing Armored Core stuff. Let's find somebody who's doing Armored Core right now. Anyone I know? Anyone I know? Yo, Z, by the way, let me know if you want to chat for a little bit after this on Discord. I have a really cool project I'm working on that I've been teasing a bunch that I'd like to discuss with you for a little bit if you like. It's so flippin' cool, dude. I'm so excited for it. So I want to discuss and get your thoughts on it a little bit too, if you want to chat a little bit. There's no one I recognize right now doing it. Anyone else? Who else? Hello. Anyone else I'm subscribed to playing right now? And Rapscallion's doing it. You can do him. Let's rate him. He's playing Dead by Daylight, but he's from the old Wings group from I used to play FF14 with. So let's give him a quick raid, and I'll take off. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate your time here. This is a lot of fun. I'll see you next time.